know about you guys, but I'm feeling a bit left out. I'm feeling overlooked. I'm feeling a little bit neglected. Just to be sure, I went and checked my mail this morning to make sure that I didn't overlook the invitations. Had some bank statements in the mail. I had a letter from the IRS telling me that I owe them another $100. Had a nice letter from the Trumper thanking me for helping him get elected. Dear Uncle KC, thanks for your help. You're a true patriot. I included a fresh batch of oranges as a token of my appreciation. Signed, your friend Donnie. Although the letter was nice, it wasn't really what I was looking for. I was looking for my invitation to the dual butt bongo festivals. Last weekend, there was a butt bongo festival on the West Coast that the media is mistakenly calling the Grammys, and there was another festival on the East Coast that the media is calling the Democratic National Committee. Thank God I did not get invited. What an embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment. If you're a parishioner at Woke United Methodist, I actually feel bad for you. If you don't immediately quit tithing after seeing what I'm about to show you, it is officially a you problem, because this is what they are spending your money on. This is what your hard-earned money is being used for. A second-rate butt bongo festival where politicians and so-called elites make a complete ass of themselves. You know, it is incredibly important to learn from your mistakes. Matter of fact, 20 years ago, my good friend Georgie W., he spoke on the importance of learning from your mistakes. He spoke on the importance of not making the same mistake twice. Watch it for yourself.
Fool me once. Shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
You know, I do miss the eloquence of our former fearless leader. Even though he butchered the phrase, what my good friend Georgie was trying to say was, learn from your mistakes. When I was growing up, it was my dream to be on the radio. I wanted to be similar to Howard Stern before he made his courageous gender transition to Howie. I wanted to be similar to Colin Cowherd, who, in my opinion, is the best broadcaster in the history of sports talk radio. Senior year of high school, we're at one of my friend's house drinking and playing cards. Her mother was very successful. She was asking all of us what we were planning to study in college. I told her that I was going to major in broadcast communications. She told me that I needed to rethink my decision. She asked me if I knew how much money the average talk show host on the radio was making. Of course, I didn't. I was 17 years old at the time. I didn't know shit about fuck. She explained to me that your average guy in radio, he's making pennies. It could take years, maybe even decades for you to make real money. And only the best of the best in the industry are making money in radio. The thing is, she wasn't wrong. Her heart was definitely in the right place. She wasn't necessarily trying to convince me not to follow my dreams. She was simply opening my eyes. She was trying to wake me up from my dream and introduce me to reality. Problem is, I listened to her. I changed my major to business, and I spent 15 miserable years working so-called career jobs. 15 miserable years working at jobs that I hated. It took me 15 years to learn from my mistake. And if I can help it, I will never make that mistake again. Unfortunately for parishioners at Woke United Methodist, I cannot say the same for your deacons. The Democrats are making the same mistake that they made with cackling Cam Harris. The Democrats are making the same mistake that got them thrown out of Washington. Instead of rejecting and eradicating the woke fungus from their party, over the weekend, deacons at Woke United Methodist, they ordered a double dose of wiener. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. This morning on the second channel, we talked about bitter Canadians booing our national anthem in a desperate attempt to get daddy's attention. So if you haven't already, head over to the second channel and subscribe. Before the Butt Bongo Festival officially started, MSNBC, they hosted a seminar with deacons at Woke United Methodist. The event, it was hosted by Jonathan Capehart. Casey, who in the hell is John Capehart? As it turns out, John is a dual woke welfare collector. He collects welfare from MSNBC as well as the Washington Post. This event, it was designed as sort of a brainstorming session for the deacons. 3 months after the election, they still have not figured out why cackling Cam Harris was a huge embarrassing failure. Well, all they had to do was call Uncle KC. I would have gladly told them why Cackling Cam lost. They could have saved thousands of dollars they spent on this doofus seminar, and I could have given them this information for free. There are so many reasons that Cackling Cam lost, it might be better to look at the list of probabilities of Cam Harris actually winning an election. I looked at the list. It said 0. Cam Harris has no chance of winning a national election. But instead of looking at Cam as a flawed candidate, instead of looking at her decades of embarrassing failure in politics, MSNBC wanted to be more specific. They wanted to pinpoint specific reasons that Cam Harris was the replacement loser for Johnny B. Biden. John Capehart, he spent hours in his rented Buick thinking of reasons that Cam lost. He came to the conclusion that the election was lost due to mythical racism and mythical misogyny. But Johnny, he wasn't sure if he was right. Johnny wasn't sure if fake racism was the real reason that Cam lost. So he decided to ask the deacons if they believed that mythical racism and toxic masculinity was the reason that Cam lost the election. Watch their response.
How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat? Okay.
Oh, racism! Oh, of course it's the reason! It's a silly question! Let me translate for you. As you guys know, the deacons, they like to speak in coded terms. Luckily, Uncle KC is fluent in delusion, so I can adequately translate their language. What MSNBC is actually saying is, white men are the reason that Cam Harris lost the election. It wasn't the massive influx in minority voters. It wasn't the massive influx in younger voters. It wasn't legal immigrants who were pissed off and were tired of paying for undocumented birthing persons to live in the Four Seasons. According to MSNBC, the reason Cam Harris lost the election is the evil white man. Next on the itinerary was Dr. Quintessa Hathaway, better known to friends and family as Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, which is strange because she doesn't look like the Dr. Quinn that I remember from back in the 90s. Dr. Quinn is a lead physician at Woke Memorial Hospital. Initially, I thought she was invited to speak at the event to discuss the increased threat of the COVID in 2025, or to discuss the dangers of bird flu, or to remind attendees to stock up on the Preparation H before they attended the Butt Bongo Festival. MSNBC, they thought the same thing as they opened the mic for Dr. Quinn to speak, but instead of speaking, she started singing the blues. Watch for yourself.
You fight on, you fight on, you fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
Yeah, let's just move on. I compiled a few other clips from the exciting weekend in the Democratic Party. Now, keep in mind, these are their leaders. These are the people they recruited to defeat Donald Trump. These are the people they hired to win back the White House in 2028. You tell me if you're voting for this party. Watch for yourself.
That when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. So again, this is what we have to do for this vice chair race. We have to elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
Again? Dr. Quinn is singing again? With all this singing, when the hell does she have time to practice medicine? My inside sources, they are telling me that a severely injured patient came to see Dr. Quinn with a concussion. Instead of treating the concussion, Dr. Quinn, she started singing Chumbawamba. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. These are your leaders of the Democratic Party. Is it any wonder why they lost the election? You know what the Democrats are? These are the nerds in high school. These are the kids in high school that didn't have any friends. These are the kids in high school that spent Friday nights playing Nintendo. These are the kids that showed up to the party uninvited and they were not allowed inside. Technology gave them the ability to find each other. For the first time ever, nerds around the country, they were able to come together. They eventually took over the Democratic Party, and in 2020, they were given real power for the first time. They were given the opportunity to exact revenge on normal people in the last 4 years. That was the result. Think about how far the Democrats have fallen. When I was growing up, the Democrats, they were the cool kids, and the Republicans, they were the aging fossils. This is the party of JFK. This is the party of Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. 3 dudes with unmatched charisma. 3 dudes who command your attention. 3 dudes who command respect. Now, the Democrats have a singing doctor, a male Lizzo who is so confused by gender he can't tell the difference between they and them, and they're making the same mistakes that led them down the path of embarrassing failure. Give me your thoughts on this. MSNBC claims that racism and misogyny are the reasons that Cam Harris lost the election. To make matters worse, the event featured some of the strangest displays of leadership that I've ever seen. These people don't have a chance to win an election, right? There's absolutely no way they are regaining power, right? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.